The 10-step part 2, the 10-step process part 2. The first video is Japanese Tsunami. My predictions with this, I thought would be the same predictions that would be used as having the first video with disaster preparedness, but it was quite different. Once I got a chance to look at the video, my predictions were pretty off when preparing this and doing step 1. Step 2 is recalling or brainstorming, and this is the time where you take and watch the video. And once you watch the video, you then can begin to start working on step 2 of retelling in your own story. And here I begin to retell the Japanese tsunami story in my own, with my own ideals and my own thoughts. Step 3 is content mapping, and as you can see here are like the predictions, the things that were actually spoken about in the video, and these are like my so-called subtitles of things that came up into the video as well. This area here with the writing in green are things that I originally came up with in my predictions, but they never came up in the discourse itself. Step 4 is the salient features in the source language. This was ways I had to think of fingerspell words or words that was said for me to figure out how I would voice those in the English language. Of course, words that were fingerspelled were words that I just say. Or maybe even would put stress on some of the words and that were fingerspelled. And also in this step here, I had to even think about how important certain words were to the message. Step 4 is an abstraction. And in this abstraction, I chose to use things that were kind of word associative for me, such as sounds like a girl band, Titanic plates, or boy band, continental drifts. So I kind of did word association so that I could remember what was being said in the what was being signed in the presentation about the Japanese tsunami, things that I could use that would stick to me or stick with me or that I could use. Again, this was my abstraction, and these are sentences of words or phrases to help me remember the message. Step 6 is retelling the source text in the source language. And here is my YouTube links, and also the video is there for you to view. And I was able to retell the source text about the Japanese tsunami. I was able to look at step 3 to be able to retell the story, to retell what was said in the message about the Japanese tsunami. Looking at the things that I used in my content map was not very hard. Step 7 was the salient linguistic features in the target language, And some of these words were things that were synonymous with a tsunami. Step 8 is visualizing or visual mapping, and I was able to use my visual map to recall the message again. So I tried to use pictures, and this is where you use pictures or symbols to be able to recall your story. And it was very easy for me to recall what happened during a Japanese tsunami. Step 9 is just retelling the message in the target language. And as you can see here, you can click and play the video to hear me retell it in the target language. So I took this video of the Japanese tsunami from ASL and put it into English. Step 10 is my interpretation, and again, the video is here. You can click. I did the first 5 to 10 minutes of the video. It's what I chose to do, and I analyzed the video, and there were some things that I noticed that I needed to work on. Although my interpretation was not very bad, I did notice that I had a hard time towards the end, which is not the part that I of the clip of the video that I used, but I had a hard time with some of the message and understanding the part about nuclear power. But what I did understand was the information about the Japanese tsunami, and so I did use that because I didn't have any elk, but I did have to look up the information to be able to even gain some understanding and to build upon some concepts for this. But there were things in here that I could have interpreted better. There again, I didn't use very many ASL concepts. Actually, I found that my interpretation went back and forth from sign exact English to some ASL concepts. I find that I am all over the place while interpreting.